Hello. Now we know the classification of duties under customs. I told you in the last session that yes, there would be application of these concepts. We need to work out certain practical questions on the concept of duties. So now let us do certain practical questions and let us learn how to work out the amount of duty payables, and many a times the question would also ask you to work out the amount of value of imported goods. Okay, how the duties are to be computed, what would be the sequence for the computation of various duties, and how ultimately we would arrive at the amount of duty payable, that means the duty liability on the importer, as well as the value of imported goods, that means the total cost of importing such goods onto the shoulders of the importer, that we would also try to work out. Okay, so please open your study notes, come to the end of the chapter, and there you find certain questions given there. So let us take question number 1 first. Question number 1, it says work out custom duty payable in the following independent cases. 3 cases are given, A, B and C, and it says that these 3 cases are independent cases, means they have no relation with each other. So first of all, let us take the case of A. Question number 1, part A. If you see, in part A, we have been given the assessable value in rupees. AV is for assessable value. The first column where after AV, FC is written, that FC means foreign currency. The next column, CR means conversion rate. The next column is about AV in rupees, assessable value in rupees, and the last 3 columns, they are giving you rates of BCD, SWS and IGST rate. Okay. Now, in case of part A, only 3 informations have been given. One is the assessable value in rupees, second is the BCD rate, and third is the SWS rate. Okay. So how to work out duty payable? Yes, even though the question says that work out custom duty payable, but in every single question we are going to work out value of imported goods also. Okay, so this is question 1, part number A. We have assessable value which is given in rupee terms, and the value is 4,50,000. Okay, now apply BCD here, the basic customs duty. BCD is to be applied at the given rate on the value of assessable value. Okay, so the duty rate here is 10%. Apply 10% on this amount, this would be 45,000. Okay, so the BCD is 45,000 rupees because the rate is 10% and the assessable value is 4.5 lakhs. Now it is the turn of SWS. For SWS, the rate is given as 10%. Now please note that even if the rate is not given for SWS, SWS has got a fixed rate. It is 10% always. Yes, in exceptional case where you are dealing in goods or silver, at that in that situation the SWS rate given is 3%. Otherwise, in general, the rate of SWS is 10%. So 10% you would apply on this amount, on the amount of BCD. So 10% of 45,000 comes to 4,500. Now make a total of it, and this would be 4,99500. This is the amount which we would say the value of imported goods. Okay. And what is the amount of customs duty payable? The duty payable is this plus this, that means 49,500. Okay. So this is your part A. Part B. Part number B. Now in part B, the assessable value is given in dollar terms, $30,000. Then conversion rate is given. Assessable value in rupees is not given. That means you need to work it out yourself. BCD rate is 12% and nothing else is given. So just again 3 information. The assessable value is given in foreign currency terms. Now please see the assessable value. It is in dollar terms $30,000. Okay, no problem. Now work out BCD on it. Please see, before working out BCD, we need to convert the assessable value which is given in foreign currency terms into rupee terms. Okay, for that you need to convert this into rupees. You need to apply the conversion rate. So what is the conversion rate? The conversion rate is 75. Now how to interpret this? It means $1 is equal to 75 rupees. Okay, so the assessable value in rupee terms, it would be this multiplied by this. Please multiply it, and when you would multiply it, $30,000 multiplied by 75, that comes to 22.5 lakhs. So this is 2250. Okay, this is the assessable value in rupees. Now you can work out your BCD. So the BCD is, what is the rate given? The rate is 12%. So BCD at 12%, 12% on this value, this comes to 2,70,000. Okay. Now please note that in your information in part B, SWS is not given to you. Even if SWS is not given, you need to apply SWS. There is a fixed rate of SWS. Okay. So you need to apply SWS irrespective of the fact whether it is actually given in the question or not. Always and always apply SWS. So SWS at 10%, it would be 10% on 270, that means 27,000. Okay. Now make a total of it, and this would be 25,47,000. This is value of imported goods. And what about duty payable? Duty payable would be this plus this, that means 2,97,000. This is your part number B. Now question 1, point number C. In point number C, again we have been given assessable value in foreign currency terms. The conversion rate is given. The BCD rate of 12% is given. And after that, IGST is also given at 12% rate. Okay. So that means in point number C, apart from BCD and SWS, there would also be the IGST. Okay. So how to work it out? Assessable value, dollar terms 30,000, conversion rate 75. So assessable value in rupee terms, we have already worked it out. This is 22.5 lakhs. Okay. Now BCD, same rate is given 12%, which is 270. Okay. SWS at 10%, it would be 27,000. And then make a total of this. The total is 2547. Okay. Now apply IGST. IGST, the rate of IGST given is 12%. So IGST at 12%. Now you need to apply this 12% rate on this amount. Okay. So 12% on 25.47 lakhs. $25,470,000 multiplied by 12%. This is 305,640. 305,640. This is the amount of IGST. Now make a total of these two. So this is your value of imported goods. What is the amount of duty payable? The amount of duty payable would be this plus this plus this. So this is 270 plus 27, 297 plus 305,640, 305,640. This comes to 602,640, 602,640. This is the amount of duty payable in this case. Okay. So no problem here. This was question number 1, 3 parts. Okay. Step by step we would move further in our questions. In every single question there would be a new concept coming into, to work it out. A new thing you would see in every single question here. Like in this case, point A was very, very simple. Point B, we include what? We include that the conversion rate here. The EV was given in dollar terms there in point number B, whereas it was in rupee terms, right? In rupee terms in point number A. Point number C, we included the IGST also here. Okay. This should not be difficult for you, because in last session when we were studying about the duties, I gave you illustration, and in the illustration I think that was very clear how to work out these duties. Okay. So on the same lines only we are computing these duties now. Coming to the next question, which is question number 2. Question number 2. It says, Mr. R, a trader, imported certain goods for trading purposes. The assessable value is $10,000. Calculate assessable value and rate of and custom duty in Indian rupees if the exchange rate and rate of duty are as follows. Particulars: date of filing of bill of entry 28 February, exchange rate is 71 rupees and basic duty on that date is 10%. Date of entry in word is on 3rd of March. The exchange rate on that date is 72 rupees and the duty rate on that date is 12%. Take IGST rate at 18%. This is also given. Now you need to work out the custom duty payable on the basis of this information given to you. Please see that 2 different dates are given. The first is 28 February when the importer has filed his bill of entry, and second is 3rd of March. It is the rate of entry in word. Okay. Now 2 different rates of customs duty have been given to you. 2 different conversion rates are also given to you. Okay. So our first decision would be which duty rate we should take and which conversion rate we should take. Okay, so please see, this is question number 2. The assessable value given is $10,000. Assessable value is $10,000. Now, let us first decide which duty rate we should take. You all know now that duty rate, which is the rate prevailing on the date of taxable event, that duty rate we need to take here. Okay, the duty rate on the date of taxable event, that is the relevant duty rate for us. Okay, now what is taxable event? Taxable event in case of importation is the date of filing of bill of entry for home consumption or the date of entry inward, whichever is later. Out of these two, whichever is later, that would be taken as the date of taxable event. So from the given information, 3rd of March is the date of taxable event. Date of taxable event is 3rd of March. When it is 3rd of March, that means the custom duty rate on 3rd of March is the relevant rate for us. So that means we are going to take custom duty rate, or let us call it BCD rate, which is there on 3rd of March, and that is 12%. Okay, on 3rd of March, the custom duty rate given is 12%. So the relevant rate for us is 12%. Okay. Now in case you have made a mistake here, instead of 12% you are taking 10% rate. Please note that everything in your question would be taken as wrong. Even though other calculations you do, they may be right, but when you have already taken the wrong custom duty rate, okay, that means everything else is also wrong. So you should be very careful deciding about which duty rate is applicable, and that would depend on the concept of taxable event. Okay, so you must remember how we are going to work out taxable event, that you all know. I repeated that also a number of times. So it is 12% on 3rd of March, which is the relevant rate for us. Now coming to the next thing, which conversion rate is relevant for us? Please see, in case of conversion of foreign exchange into Indian rupees, you need to remember 2 points. You need to remember 2 points, and you can note down these 2 points. Point number 1. Point number 1 is always and always take the rate given by CBIC. Never ever take the rate given by RBI. There may be a situation that the question would give you the conversion rate given by RBI and the conversion rate given by CBIC. If it is so, then you must choose the conversion rate given by CBIC. You should never take the conversion rate given by RBI. Okay, please note this. Point number 2, and point number 2 is that the conversion rate you need to take is the rate on the date when you have filed the bill of entry for home consumption. I am repeating this. The date on which you have filed, the importer has filed the bill of entry for home consumption, whatever conversion rate of CBIC is there on that date, it would be the relevant conversion rate for us. Now apply this on this question here. The importer has filed bill of entry on 28th of February. That means the conversion rate by CBIC on 28th of February is the relevant conversion rate. So it is rupees 71. The applicable conversion rate would be $1 is equal to 71 rupees. Okay. Now we have the basic information. Now we can work out the duty payable amount. So assessable value is $10,000. Conversion rate is 71 rupees. So assessable value in rupee terms, it would be 71 multiplied by 10,000. That means 7,10,000. Now work out BCD. The BCD rate you should take is 12%. So 12% of this, 0 0. Okay, now it would be 7,10,000 multiplied by 12%. So it is 85,200. 85,200 is the BCD at the rate of 12% on the assessable value, which is 7.1 lakh. Okay, now what? Apply SWS. If it is given or not given in the question, you must apply SWS. The rate 10%. 10% on what? 10% on BCD amount. So 8520 is SWS 10%. Okay, clear? Now make a total of this. The total of this would be 803,720. Okay, now on 803,720 you need to apply IGST. So IGST और IGST का रेट हमें क्या मिला? The IGST rate is 18%. So work out 18% of this amount. $803,720 multiplied by 18%. This comes to 144,670. 144,670. So this is the amount of IGST. Okay. Now make a total of this. 948,390. This is the value of imported goods, and the amount of duty payable would be, duty is this plus this. So it is 85,200 plus 8520 plus 144,670, and this comes to 238,390. 2,38,390. This is the amount of duty including your IGST. No problem. That was question number 1. This is your question number 2. Okay. Now let's move to question number 4. Okay. 3 you can do yourself. Okay. Solution has also been given in notes, so no problem to you. I am taking now question number 4. Question number 4 is, a car rental company imported an Audi car for the purpose of providing output services by way of renting it to its clients. The cost / assessable value of the car is 40 lakhs. The rate of BCD and IGST is 10% and 28% respectively. Compensation cess is 20%. Compute duty payable and total cost of the car to the company. तो नया क्या है इस क्वेश्चन में? इस क्वेश्चन में 2 बातें नहीं है. पहली बात आपने ऑब्जर्व करना है कि यहां पर हम बात कर रहे हैं एक ऑडी कार की, ठीक है, और क्वेश्चन ने साफ तौर पे कहा है कि आपने इसमें कंपनसेशन सेस भी लगाना है. इसका मतलब ऑडी कार जो भी मॉडल उन्होंने लिया है ये लग्जरी प्रोडक्ट में कवर होगा, और जो भी आपके प्रोडक्ट्स लग्जरी गुड्स में कवर होते हैं उनके ऊपर आपको जीएसटी कंपनसेशन सेस लगाना होता है. तो ये क्वेश्चन आपको ये दिखा देगा कि जीएसटी कंपनसेशन सेस हमें कैसे वर्कआउट करना है. ओके, किस स्टेज पर, किस लेवल पर, किस स्टेप में हमें कंपनसेशन सेस लगाना होगा. सो इट इज क्वेश्चन नंबर 4. Assessable value is given as 40 lakhs. Assessable value rupee terms में this is 40 lakhs. Okay. Now on assessable value, directly work out your BCD amount. BCD, what is the rate given? The BCD rate is 10%. So this would be 4 lakhs. Apply SWS. Given or not given, you need to apply this. This would be 40,000. Make a total of this. Apply IGST. The rate of IGST is 28%. Okay. Calculate 28% on this. $44,400,000 multiplied by 28%. 1243200. 1243200. 1243200 is the amount of IGST. Okay. You worked out the amount of IGST. Now it is the term of GST compensation cess. The rate given is 20%. GST compensation cess at 20%. Okay. Now, on what you are going to apply this 20% rate? So you must remember that compensation cess is to be worked out, is to be computed on this value only. Okay. The value or the amount on which you have worked out your IGST amount, on the same value you are computing the GST compensation cess also. That means 20% you need to apply on this value. So 20% of this would be 10% would be 444, then 20% would be, it would be 8800, 88,800, or there would be one more zero. This is 44 lakhs. Yes, 8,88,000. This would be 8,88,000. 20% of this amount is 888,000. Okay, this is the amount of GST compensation cess. Right? Now, please see the value of imported goods. It is this plus this plus this. $65,71,200 ये हमारे पास आया है क्या चीज, जो हमारी वैल्यू ऑफ इंपोर्टेड गुड्स है 65,71,200. Let me cross check it. $44,400,000 plus yes 65,71,200. Okay, in the solution instead of 65 it is coming as 55. Please take it as 65 only. Take it as 65 only. That would be a printing mistake. Take it as 65. Okay. Now, the amount of duty payable. For duty payable, you have to, add up these two plus these two. Then you add up these four amounts. It would come to, this would be, or simply I can write it here like this, 25,71,200. How I am writing this amount straight away? because either you add up all the 4 amounts of duties, or even a shorter route, it is take value of imported goods and from this reduce the amount of assessable value. So this minus 40 lakhs comes to 25,71,200. The value of imported goods, it is consisted of the assessable value plus the duties on that. Okay, so instead of adding up these 4 amounts, simply straight away you can work it out by reducing the amount of assessable value from the value of imported goods. Okay, now this way you can also check your answer. It is a kind of cross check. If you work out the amount of duty payable and the amount of duty payable plus assessable value is equal to value of imported goods, that means you have not committed any mistake in your calculations. Okay, so that was question number 4. What was new there in this question? It was the GST compensation cess. Okay, must remember it that it is to be calculated on this amount only. Okay, now coming to the next question, which is question number 5. This question number 5, it is in relation to safeguard duty. Okay, there are 4 parts in this question. Every single part would deal with a certain concept of safeguarding duty. Okay, now you must remember the concept. You must remember the provision of safeguard duty. I told you that there are 3 important points. Point number 1, if you are importing certain goods on which safeguard could be applied from a developed country, right away impose safeguard duty on that. But, and this is point number 2, if you are importing such articles, such goods from a developing country, okay, then initially we are not going to apply safeguard duty, but when the imports from that developing country exceeds 3% of the total import of such goods in India, in that case we impose safeguard duty even on the imports from that developing country. That was point number 2. Point number 3, that in case you are importing such articles from more than one developing country, and in case of every single developing country, their individual share of exporting this article into India is less than 3% of the total import of that article into India, then safeguard duty can only be imposed if the collective import from all such developing country taken together exceeds 9% of the total import of that article in India. That is point number 3. Okay, now this question number 5, where we have 4 points, they would cover every single point of the provision of safeguard duty. Okay, so I am reading point number A now. Rajesh Limited imported certain goods from Bangladesh, and Bangladesh is a developing country. Yes, it is written also here. Bangladesh, a developing country, from 26th January to the next year of 25th January. Of rupees 50 crores. That means in an entire year, Rajesh Limited imported these goods from Bangladesh, a developing country, to the volume of 50 crores. The total import of these goods, including the imports from the developing country in India, is rupees 2,500 crores. Okay, in that year, India has imported those goods from various countries, and the total volume of such imports is 2,500 crores. Okay, out of these 2,500 crores, 50 crores only have been imported from a company from Bangladesh, a developing country. Okay, determine the safeguard duty payable by Rajesh Limited under section 8B of the customs. 8B is the section for safeguarding duty. If the rate of safeguarding duty is 30%, now the rate is given. Okay, I told you that in case of safeguard, the rate is always given in the question. Okay, so this is point number A of question number 5. Let's do it now. Question number 5, A part. Total import of this article is 50 crores. I am writing R Limited. For Rajesh Limited, I am writing it as R Limited. The import of R Limited is 50 crores. Total import of such goods from all countries, developed or developing or whatever, from all countries, the total import of such goods is 2500 crores. Okay. Now we need to check whether R Limited would have to pay any safeguard duty on this or not. R Limited, because it has imported goods from a developing country, the safeguard duty would only be imposed if the import from Bangladesh exceeds 3% of the total import. Okay. Now please check whether 50 crores is more than 3% of 2500. How we are going to check it? Very simple. 50 oblique 2500 multiplied by 100. So 50 comes to this is half. So this is 2%. So that means only 2% of the total import of these goods have been imported from Bangladesh, a developing country. Since it is less than 3%, it has not crossed 3%, we would not apply any safeguard duty here. So the conclusion, the answer is very clear. Answer for this is no safeguard duty to be imposed because the level is still below 3% or the import have not crossed 3% of the total import of these goods in India. So the answer is no safeguard duty on the import of these goods from Bangladesh by this company. Coming to point number B. Point number B says all other facts given in A remains the same. Point number A, every information remains the same. All other facts remain same. But what will be the answer if the imports from Bangladesh is 100 crores? So the only variation in point number B is instead of 50 crores, the value of the import from Bangladesh is now taken as 100 crores. So what would be the answer now? R Limited is the importer. Now the imports from Bangladesh is now taken as 100 crores. Now if they are 100 crores, please see whether the limit of 3% have been crossed or not. 100 crores on 2500 crores multiplied by this, now this comes as 4%. So that means the limit of 3% is crossed. It means now yes, we would impose safeguard duty on the imports from Bangladesh. So how the rate given is 30%. The amount of safeguard duty, it would be, they have imported goods worth 100 crores, the duty rate is 30%, so the amount of duty is 30 crores. Okay, 30 crore is the amount of safeguard duty on the import of 100 crores of these goods from Bangladesh. Point number C. Point number C says that all other facts given in A remains same. What would be the answer with the additional information? And the additional information is that C Limited, M Limited and A Limited also imported the same goods from Sri Lanka, Indonesia and Malaysia. All of these three are developing countries. What is the extent of import? 70 crores by C Limited, 65 crores by M and 60 crores by A Limited. Okay. Now it is not, the Rajesh Limited is not the only company who has imported these goods from a developing country, but there are other importers who have imported these things from other developing countries. So the situation is like this now. We have R Limited, which imported 50 crores, all from developing countries. Then we have C Limited, which imported 70 crores. Then we have M Limited, it imported 65, and A Limited, this imported 60 crores, all from developing countries. So that means the situation now is this, that during the year, 4 companies imported these goods from 4 developing countries. Okay, so that means more than one developing country. This is now point number 3, which I gave for safeguard duty. Okay, when from more than one developing country the goods are being imported and their individual share in our total import remains less than 3%. Okay, but then in such a situation you need to see the collective import from all the developing countries, and then you would check whether this crosses 9% of the total imports or not. If it crosses, then you need to impose the safeguard duty. So let us now check what is the total import from the developing countries. This is 245 crores. Okay, now 245 on 2500 crores multiplied by 100, this comes to 49 by 5. 49 by 5 would be 5, 9, 45, 9.8%. Now please see that individually no one crosses the 3% limit. No one. But collectively, the import from the developing country crosses 9% of the total import of these goods in India. Okay? The share of developing country is 9.8%. It crosses 9%. Okay? That means what? It means now we are going to impose safeguard duty on the imports of all from all developing countries. That means all of the 4 companies would have to pay safeguard duty on their imports. So how much would be the duty amount? Let me write it right here. How much of duty they are going to pay? R Limited would pay 50 on 50 crores. The rate is 30%. It would be 15 crores. In this case, it would pay 21 crores. In this case, 30% of 65 crores. This would be 19.5 crores. And last case, 30% on 60 would be 18 crores. Okay. So in this situation, every single company, even though they have imported these goods from developing country, but because collective import from the developing countries exceed 9%, then yes, we are going to impose duties from on all such imports from developing countries. That was point number C. Now last point number D. Point number D says all other facts given in A and C remains the same. What would be the answer if import of Rajesh Limited is 100 crores? Okay. Please see in point number C, the import of Rajesh Limited has been taken as 50 crores. But now point number D says that if the Rajesh Limited import is 100 crores, then what would be the consequence then? Again, we would do the same thing. R Limited, this would be 100 crores. C Limited 70, M 65, and A is 60. Okay. Please note that one of the import from one of the developing country, the import by R Limited from Bangladesh, it is 100 crore. And when it is 100 crore, that means it itself exceeds 3% limit given under point number 2 of safeguard duty. Okay. This exceeds 3%. So that means, yes, in case of R Limited, straight away safeguard duty should be imposed. So now we would impose safeguard duty on R Limited. This would be 30%. So that means R Limited would have to pay 30 crores of duty here. Okay. Now what about the rest of the developing countries import? Rest of all the three imports from the developing country, when we take them in total, we would see that the collective import from these developing countries, it is not exceeding 9%. Let us work it out. Please see, the total of these three is 195. Okay, and 195 on 2500 crores multiplied by 100, this comes to 39 by 5, which would be 5, 7, 35, 7.8% only. So because it is well below 9%, it has not crossed 9% limit. That means the imports from the other three developing country, you cannot impose safeguard duty on them. Okay, so the answer for point number D is that only in case of R Limited import we are imposing the safeguard duty, and in case of the other three companies, the imports from the other three developing countries, since collectively they do not exceed 9% limit, there would not be any safeguard duty on those imports. Okay, that was question number 5. Now the next I am taking is question number 6, and question number 6 is based on anti-dumping duty. Question number 6, the facts, the data given is this. X Limited imported certain goods from a country covered by a notification issued under section 9A. 9A is anti-dumping. As per the notification, the anti-dumping duty will be equal to the difference between the cost of commodity calculated at $85 per kg and the landed value of the commodity as imported. If you remember, in our last session, when we were discussing anti-dumping duty, I told you that the question would give you the instructions on how to work out the anti-dumping duty. Okay. Anti-dumping duty is to be worked out on the basis of the notification issued by the government. So here the question has given you this reference that as per the notification, the anti-dumping duty will be equal to the difference between the cost of commodity calculated as $85 per kg and the landed value of the commodity. So clear-cut instructions how to work out anti-dumping duty, right? Following are the particulars. FOB value is $20,000. Now I would tell you what is the meaning of FOB value. Basically these two terms, FOB and CIF, these we are going to study in detail in our next chapter. That means next session would be on the next chapter. The next chapter would be on valuation. Okay, valuation. So there we would see what is the meaning of FOB and CIF. But because there is a mention of FOB here, let me tell you something about FOB. FOB simply means free on board. It is the value when the goods are there at the port of the exporting country. I am repeating this. FOB value is the value of the goods when the goods are there at the port of the exporting country. Okay. The value of goods which are being exported, and at that point of time when the goods are there at the port of the exporting country, that value is called the free on board value or FOB value. Okay, FOB value simply signifies that in this value still you would have to include the freight cost as well as the insurance cost. Okay, and now please see, After giving the FOB value of consignment, which is $20,000, they have given you the freight of $4,000 and insurance $1,000. Okay, so no problem. Let us suppose that you are importing certain goods from USA. When the goods are there at USA port, the value of those goods would be taken as FOB value. Okay. Now from USA, the goods would be, they may be transporting in a vessel. Okay. So when you would add the vessel freight plus the transport insurance onto the FOB value, you would get your assessable value. Okay. Now more of this we would be studying in our next chapter. That means from the next session we are going to do these kind of concepts of valuation, right? So as of now it is clear to you, FOB value simply means the basic value of the consignment, and then freight and insurance is also given. What we are going to do with freight insurance, we are simply add the freight insurance with in the FOB value. Exchange rate is $72. Quantity imported is 500 kgs. What about duties? The basic custom duty rate is 12%, IGST is 12%, social welfare surcharge as applicable. Compute the total cost and duty liability including the anti-dumping duty. Okay. So yes, it is a lengthy question. This is question number 6, primarily highlighting the anti-dumping case, but it is not just calculation of anti-dumping. You need to work out, you need to compute all other duties also, BCD, SWS, IGST, etc. Okay, along with anti-dumping duty. So now, the very first step, we have been given the assessable value in dollar terms, foreign currency terms. Okay, so what is the assessable value? The assessable value is, in dollar terms, it is $25,000. The conversion rate is $1 is equal to, what is the rate given? $72. 72 rupees. $1 is equal to 72 rupees. Okay. So what is the assessable value in rupees? The assessable value in rupees is this multiplied by 72. $25,000 multiplied by 72, this comes to 18 lakhs. 18 lakhs. Okay. Now work out BCD. The BCD rate given to us, BCD was 12%. So it is 12%. 12% on this amount. $2,16,000. 2,16,000 is BCD. Apply SWS 10%. 10% on this, 21,600. Okay. So far, no problem. Now make a total of this here. This plus this plus this. This would be okay, 20 lakhs 37,600. 20 lakhs 37,600. Now this value, when you have applied the basic custom duty as well as the surcharge, this is called the landed value or the landed cost. Okay. Now you need to work out the anti-dumping duty. Okay. In our previous question or previous to previous question, after this we worked out IGST. You must remember this, and I think I discussed that point also while doing the discussion on the computation of anti-dumping duty. Anti-dumping duty is to be computed before the computation of IGST. Okay. Why it is so? Because while working out the amount of IGST, the amount of anti-dumping duty is also to be included in that value. Okay. if your IGST rate is 18%, you need to apply that 18% on a particular value. That value must include the amount of anti-dumping duty also, and this is the reason we have to first compute the anti-dumping duty. Always compute anti-dumping or safeguard duty before the computation of IGST or the GST compensation cess. So here now let us compute the anti-dumping duty. Working notes for anti-dumping duty. The criteria given is that the value of the commodity by the rate US $85 per kg. You have imported 500 kgs of this commodity. Okay. Anti-dumping duty is to be imposed in this manner. The notification says that AD, anti-dumping, would be equal to the difference between the cost of the commodity calculated at US $85. Okay. So the cost of the commodity here is, we got 500 kgs multiplied by $85. Multiplied by $85. So when you multiply 500 with $85, this would be $500 multiplied by 85. This comes to 42500, $42,500. Okay. The conversion rate is 72. So now in rupee terms, this would be 42,500 multiplied by 72. This comes to 30,60,000. 30,60,000. Now please see. The notification on anti-dumping duty says that anti-dumping duty would be the difference of the cost of commodity and landed value. The difference between this and this is the amount of anti-dumping duty. Okay. So what is the amount of anti-dumping duty? Take this amount minus 37,600. This is the landed value. Okay. So this comes to 1022,400. Let me first check it. 1022,400, whether calculation is okay or not. $3060,000 minus 2037,600, 1022,400. Yes, 10,22,400. This is the amount of anti-dumping duty. No problem. Okay. Now you can apply the IGST. Before making IGST, let us make a total here also. This would be, this is now 30,060 lakhs, this amount. Okay. Now apply IGST. The rate of IGST 12% is given. So IGST at 12%, 12% on this. $3060,000 multiplied by 12%. This comes to 367,200. So this is the amount of IGST, 367,200, right? Now let us compute the value of imported goods plus duty payable. Okay. So value of imported goods, or the total cost to the importer, is this. Add this and this. It would be 34,27,200 is the total cost to the importer. And what about duty payable? The duty payable, add up all the duties, or You may subtract the amount of assessable value from this value, 34 minus 18. This would be 16, 27, 200. This is the amount of duty payable, and this is the amount of value of imported goods or cost to the importer. That was question number 6. Okay. Now, let me tell you the next chapter on valuation. It is a complete 100% practical chapter. That means a good number of practical questions we would be doing in our next chapter. Mainly in your exams, either you would get a practical question of this type where you are calculating duties, or you would have to work out the assessable value. The next chapter is all about valuation. That means working out the assessable value. Please see that in all of these questions, the question has given us the assessable value every time. The next chapter, our entire attempt would be to compute the assessable value. Okay. In all of these questions, we were having the assessable value and then we were working out the duty payable amount. But next chapter is all about how to compute this assessable value. Okay. So entirely practical chapter, a very, very interesting chapter, and we would start it in our next session. So I'm concluding this session now. Thank you.